So now we're going to have the recording actually going. So welcome to the 1040 meeting. The e-board is all present. And the next thing of order of business is the recording secretary, Amelia Garcia, is going to read the minutes from the previous meeting. This clips on. Or
Good afternoon, guys.
put it closer to that. There you go.
Here?
Yeah, you
Okay,
can clip it on or read it.
I'll just hold on to it.
Okay.
The last membership meeting we had here at this location was April 20th, 2026. The meeting began at 12:15. It began with a roll call. Johnny Jones was president. Chris Brown, Becky Mancha, Wendy Jones was out on that day. I was here, Flo was here, and Blake was here as well. On April 20th, we had a treasury report of $75,938. The dues deduction has brought us to a loss during the shutdown, since the dues were canceled for our members or all TSOs. The January 21st minutes were read then with a motion to accept. We had first Christy Boyd and second Chris Brown. We had open discussion. Dallas Love, Vice President Becky Mancha spoke on attendance issues, asking for TSOs to provide doctor's notes ahead of time. Again, for future AWOL suspensions. If you have an issue, get with your union reps as soon as possible due to the time frame needed to be grieved. We spoke on LORs that would actually hurt you in the long run as well. Any financial issues because of the shutdown, not getting paid, get with the union rep for some type of possible help. President Johnny Jones spoke on sick leave restrictions, privatization, where other smaller airports could be affected. We had Wendy Jones, treasurer. Johnny Jones spoke on her being proactive with labor connections to spearhead the privatization. We had our former local 1040 president, Rudy Garcia, in attendance that day. He was presented with a retiree pin and a watch. I guess as a token of appreciation. Local 1040 on recovery mode. Again, with a constant attack from the administration trying to dismantle labor across the country. There was two reconciliation bills that Johnny spoke about. One, to fund the rest of ICE, Customs and Border Protection. Two, move us from the Federal Health Employee Benefit Program to Healthcare Exchange, providing us with a voucher that would to purchase our own, which vouchers can be pegged to a dollar amount and actually keep us from wait a minute.
Oh, they would move us to the voucher system.
Yeah, kind of like the voucher. If that could happen, then the vouchers is pegged at a dollar amount and would not keep up with rate increases, on your co-pays, on your health insurance. Chris Brown spoke on exercising your right to vote. Discussion on the McKinney Airport as well. There was a discussion on the former mayor of Dallas who helped with the gas for TSOs during the shutdown. There was a discussion on overtime or mandatory overtime during the summer months with FIFA here. Communicate with your management if you cannot work that overtime. Union will continue to advocate for officers on the shift bid, even though we've got about 2 months approximately left before another shift bid is due. Mini bids are important. Love Field is having their scheduled shift bid. And there was 42 dual function officers coming in, so a mini bid would be needed. Scheduled trades are allowed. Part-timers, part-time officers can utilize stacking. If, for instance, example, if you give away 20% and pick up 20%, it would be considered a wash. The CBA and agreement currently is that you're allowed to give away is 40%. Annual leave vacation bid, if 0 hours, then officers can use, or ETOS would automatically convert to LWOP. Facebook posts, they're currently being monitored on what is said by officers. There was a motion to adjourn the meeting, first by Brandon Weaver, second by Blake Cruz. There were 13 in attendance, and the meeting adjourned at 1:07 p.m. on April 20th.
So what we're going to need now from the membership is just a motion to accept the minutes as written. So we got Bobby Tyner makes a motion to accept the minutes. Do we have a second? We got Blake Cruz who's going to second. All in favor of any discussion on the minutes? No discussion? What's that, Bobby? Well, yeah, well, I can go ask that question. Yeah, we can go in there, but any discussion on the minutes as she presented them? Okay, no discussion. All in favor of accepting the minutes, so say aye. All opposed? In the opinion of the floor, the ayes have it. So we're going to move on to the next order of business, which in this case, we do have, I wanted to say thanks to the Doctors Council for coming today. We have Sarah and Dr. Lou with the Doctors Council here. They're going to talk about some OWTCP things in a minute, whenever you're ready. And then what we'll do is, but before we do that, we have a special award that we were going to give out at the last meeting to our former president, but he wasn't able to make it. So he's here this week. So we wanted to say thank you to David Curtis, because you all don't know, David updates our Facebook and David keeps our website working, which we're gonna have to get him. I'm gonna beg him to update it, you know. So we're gonna have to do some begging or something to make sure that we get it updated. But we picked these up for him. It's a gift. It's a former president pin. And then also a nice, it's a AFGE watch.
Thank you.
For your service as the former president and all the time you spent helping out the members and keeping our Facebook and our website up to date. It's used across the country. So I wanted to say thank you for that, you know, and people don't understand that our local sets the model. And, you know, Dave, as a local president in the past, helped set the model that we have today. So it's appropriate that we honor. I know he's retired now, but he comes to almost every meeting. I want to say thanks to Harry. The retirees are going to be more and more important as we continue these fights for privatization. As you're well aware, there was a hearing today. We'll definitely be posting a link to the hearing. I highly encourage everybody to watch it. It's so important. So what I was going to do, whenever Dr. Lou is ready, I'd be happy to speak, or would you like to do it, Sarah? There you go, Sarah. Just clip it on. It just clips on like that. There you go. That way I can make sure it's recorded.
Okay.
So members are going to listen to your voice. So I'm just joking.
And sorry, I'm a little stuffy.
Oh, that's okay.
Hello, everyone. It's so good. I like to stand up. Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah. I'm with Doctors Council, and it's really good to be here and see you guys. I apologize. I got a sinus allergies going on with me, so my hearing's a little off right now. So if I'm yelling, I apologize. What I want to talk to you guys about is workers' comp, injuries on the job, notifying everyone. I know we're all going through a lot of hard times with the administration and what's happening, but know that we are here to fight with you all, to help you all out. Don't be afraid of the company. I know it's really, really hard, and it's easier sometimes said than done because we're on the outside looking in. But you guys have a really good support team with Dr. Lou and myself wanting to help you guys out with, causation letters, any type of injury treatment. We're here to fight for you guys. I always keep saying, it's been a long time that I've been working on trying to get vendor approved with AFGE, and we got vendor approved. And so we're growing, and we're growing because you guys have trusted us and because we do a good job. Are we perfect? No, we're not. Do I forget to call sometimes? Probably, but just call me back and I will talk to you. Dr. Lou's the same way. We try to communicate and get together as much as we can to be able to help your members out. Report your injuries. I always say report your injuries. I don't care how small it is, because what might be small to you might turn into something really big at another time, and we don't know. We just want to make sure that it's all documented correctly. Selection of doctors. I know that it's easier. Some people say, let's just go to the company doctor, Concentra, CareNows, or wherever they have. Just be very careful. I don't ever want to take a member to say, no, don't go to that doctor, don't go here. I always want to give you back your right, but I want you to get educated on the right doctors that are there to take care of your needs and to help you guys out. And that's what's important. Dr. Lou, first time, look, y'all write it down. It's documented. This is the first time I'm lost for words. Dr. Lou, can you come up and say something?
I think that the only thing that I would like to say personally is that what we do with the Doctors Council is one part, clinic is a whole different part. I don't treat patients, so what it is really I want everybody to feel comfortable that if they have issues or concerns about anything that's related to their case, they can just call us and ask us. I really don't care what provider they're seeing or who they're going to right now. If they need assistance and they just need questions answered, we have no problems doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
And look, these, there you go. We got it. We're going to say they always are here to help us. They've helped out so many members with their workman's comp issues. And the number is extremely high. And, workman's comp is a whole nother animal. The manual is 1,000 pages and the red tape is super thick. But I do want to bring up, there was a question on the floor about the voucher system. So the concern about the vouchers, we have reconciliation 2.0 going on right now. That is not, there's not a chance in hell it's going to be in that bill, but it's only set up to fund the rest of DHS. Based on the information that we're having, it's going to be very difficult for them to push another reconciliation package through. But if they do, the vouchers for healthcare are on the table. Now, what that means is currently the government pays their part of the healthcare and you pay your part, okay, for federal employees and retirees. What'll happen is that you will receive a check or a voucher on your paycheck to go buy your health insurance through the exchange. Okay, it might work out better for the first year or two because they want it to look good on paper. See, it saves you money. But that's only for the first couple of years because it doesn't have an inflation clause in it. The average cost of insurance in America is going up 9% a year. Okay. Within a year or two, we will be in the hole. You'll be paying a lot more and they will be covering a lot less. Okay. They already are starting it now. So the question is, Bobby, they tried to put that in the last reconciliation bill last year. Another thing, while we're talking about reconciliation bills, that they tried to put in was the FERS retirement supplement. So if you're a 30-year federal employee and you reach the minimum retirement age, you receive what they call a Social Security supplement from the age, your minimum retirement age. So most of us is 57 or whatever. So 57 to 62, you receive your Social Security allotment that you'll receive when you turn 62. And that is about $80,000 worth of lost benefits for every single civil servant that does this for a career, career civil servants. TSA officers are career civil servants because they're under the federal employee retirement system. Okay. So it's so important that these two things, if that goes away, it wipes out, like I said, $60,000 on average. So, and what do you guys work? Why do we do our job? Because we love our job. We don't get paid as much as other counterparts, but we do have good benefits to compared to other people doing the same comparable work. And we must protect them. Now, I do have to say with a very high level of certainty that we have enough friends in the Homeland Security Committee on both sides of the aisle, because over the last 10 years, the local and AFGE has been making partnerships and building relationships, and they are going to bear us fruit one day. The thing that we're working on also is to get the lawsuit dismissed and to have the Secretary Mullins override the previous DHS secretary's determination and just get rid of it altogether and get back to normal. But there's so many things I'm going to be talking about today. The next thing we're going to talk about is bargaining. Bargaining at the local level has been initiated. It is not going to start anytime soon, but we have a few areas in which we can negotiate on. One of the things is lighting. When you're at the TDC at certain airports, the lights are very low. I mean, I've seen it, like you can barely see the ID because the light's not high enough. And then you've actually seen them bring extra light. There's lighting, parking, facilities. These are the things we're going to be able to negotiate on. So it's going to be, and we're going to have people on official time that are going to help us negotiate that. But it's going to be done in order of priority, and it's basically by who invoked it. So it's going to take a while to get it done because TSA is going to say we only have so many people to do this level of bargaining. So, but it's going to take a while. No big deal. Another thing that's happening on a national level, currently we have two I&I post-implementation bargaining going on. One for the change in FMLA. We already completed it. We have the process, the OAB process, the Office of Appellate Board, and we're also negotiating. We demand to bargain the component that's changing for your fitness for duty. Those things are being invoked also. So the local is going to be deeply involved in these bargainings because Becky and I serve on our national council. So before we get into other topics, but I wanted to address Bobby's topic because that's very important and pertinent about the other issues that we had. If anybody on the executive board have anything they'd like to bring up, but also we're going to have our labor management meetings. So it's so important if you guys have something to go on, we can put it on our topic sheet. Like Chris is taking care of DFW and Becky takes care of Love Field. Okay. You know, I don't talk about my personal emergencies or family thing. So my mom had a stroke over the weekend. The local was running just like it was, even though it was take care of my mom. I just want to say thanks to all the members of our local, the executive board and our stewards that just do their jobs. There's no bureaucracy here. Every place has the independence to run the way they need to run. So anybody on the executive board or Becky, you have anything you want to bring up? All right, no problem. If anybody has anything, I'll be happy to move the mic over. Here we go. The executive vice president of local, Chris Brown, has a few things.
Yeah, excuse me. I want to thank the Doctors Council for coming out today and talking to us and for always being good with our members and helping them out. The main thing I just really wanted to talk about was, like Johnny said, the testimony in front of the committee today. It also included President Kelly of AFGE, but interesting to us is that it included as one of the witnesses the CEO for DFW Airport specifically. He was there as a representative of airports. And I'd like to say that he didn't sound like he was in favor of privatization, but he didn't really comment too much on whether he was or not. A lot of people say, hey, they're going to just do small airports or that's all we got to worry about. But I read an article yesterday that said the city of Atlanta, the Atlanta City Council, they're the actual ones that operate the airport in Atlanta, which is the busiest airport in the United States and probably one of the busiest ones in the world. And they are actually voted to do a feasibility study, a 90-day study to see whether or not it would be beneficial to them to privatize Atlanta. So I mean, if they can do it to Atlanta, I'm keeping an eye on that because I want to see what the results of that are. Hopefully, from what I've heard from some people down there, most of the city council is not in favor of it. It's just one guy that actually brought it up, and he was listed as the ex-airport security person. So I'm not sure in what capacity, if he was TSA ever or what he did for a living, but we'll keep an eye on that and try to see which direction that goes in. So it could probably give us a better idea of, because at this point in time, no matter what they say, they can't force any airport to go private. The law says they still have to opt into the program. But like Johnny and I have been trying to discuss with people, what they can do is when they come up with the budget for fiscal year 2027 for TSA, is they can say, well, right now we've been operating on a model that puts $5 billion in a pot to help pay for all the new technologies, the X-ray machines, the CAP machines, the 9800s, all that stuff that all these airports have to come up to code with what TSA wants. They've been helping subsidize that stuff. They can very easily move that budget line, take that money away and put it in another budget line where they say, okay, this money over here now is for incentives to, if you privatize, we'll buy your equipment for you just like normal. But if you choose not to privatize, then it's going to be on the airport themselves to buy this equipment, or the city or whoever runs the airport, the airlines, they're all going to be the ones that brunt the cost if they choose not to privatize. So it's kind of like a blackmail scheme. They can look at Wichita Falls and say, hey, can you guys afford this $2 million 9800? Because that's what you're going to have from now on. And they'll look around and they'll say, we're Wichita Falls. We don't have $2 million just to spend on one machine for 2 flights a day. So that gives them an incentive to privatize. So we're keeping an eye on that too. But like I said, and like Johnny said, if you guys, those hearings are recorded on YouTube, and if you get a chance to watch it, Johnny's going to put the link up, or David will, on Facebook. And then I highly recommend you watch it and hear what they're talking about. So, because the actual title of the hearing was supposed to be modernizing TSA and the workforce, but very little was talked about as far as modernizing us. Yeah, they did have several members of Congress that were on that committee that discussed the bills that they have and that they're putting forth in front of Congress. A couple of them giving everybody a $10,000 bonus. A couple of them giving everybody a 15% pay increase. There was one, Representative Al Green from Houston. He's introducing a bill. He's several of them, both of the ones I just spoke about, he's doing also in the House of Representatives. But he's also introducing one that in the case of a shutdown, we would all be paid time and a half for every hour that we worked during a shutdown. So we would recoup a little bit of that money that everybody, ends up inevitably, they owe interest rates on a loan or use their credit cards or however they do to get by, borrow money, or have late fees when they're done. Yes. Yeah. So hopefully if that gets passed, it'll do two things. One, it'll help us cover all those extra expenses that we always get during a shutdown. And the other thing is it might give them a little bit of incentive for the ones that don't want to spend money extra and that are conservative fiscally. They might say, you know what, let's hurry up and get a resolution to this quick so we don't have to waste any more money by paying people extra. So we'll see. But yeah, that's the main thing that I wanted to talk about.
All right, but thank you, Chris. It's very important to stay engaged because over the next 6 to 12 months, this is the time that they're going to try to privatize. And I want people to realize this, especially when you work at DFW. All you need to do is look at the employee screening portal. DFW has one of the largest active private screening workforces in the country. They have hundreds of employees that do the employee screening across the airports. Next time you're walking by, just take a look at what equipment they're using. The same equipment that we're using. And there could be a concern that, hey, maybe they're going to try to privatize this one terminal. Maybe because DFW has the money. So we're going to keep our eyes on. Now, there's nobody said anything, but they always say it can't happen. The first thing that happens when you say it can't happen is it normally does. There was a lot of people that said nobody can torpedo Pearl Harbor. Nobody could do this. nobody could jack 4 airplanes and put 2 of them in the World Trade Center, 1 in the Pentagon and 1 in the field in Pennsylvania. But it happened. So when there's time, effort, and will, things can happen. When we started in 2002, I encourage everybody to ask a rollout employee how we rolled out. When we started at TSA, the people on one lane were private officers, and the people being trained on the other lane were federal, like myself. And when we got trained and certified, they got sent home. They were promised lots of things. Many of them never got a job. Many of them never received the promises that they were held to. Over the next months, we've already done 1 video about privatization. We're going to do a series on privatization. And I talked with the Doctors Council. They're going to do one on workman's comp. So it's going to be an opportunity to be informed, because people don't understand. We can't come and talk to you on the checkpoints while you're doing screening functions. If something happened, it would be I couldn't even imagine how bad it's going to be for us. Okay. Like, not just for the TSO, but for us. So we can't interfere with screening on the checkpoint, guys. And it's so difficult to get the messages out, with all the checkpoints that we have. And in the privatization efforts that we're putting together at the spoke airports, we're going to visit those one by one. And then we're going to blast it out and make sure that we have the people in place that can do the research, read the minutes of those small airport authorities. Everybody should be aware. The busiest airport in the country, the busiest, their city council voted 11-1 to begin the research on privatizing Atlanta Hartsfield Airport. They're the busiest. If it can happen at the busiest, they already tried in Orlando in 2018. It can happen here. So we have to stay involved and stay engaged, and we need everybody to join the union, because if you're not a union member, you're not helping fight. The lawsuits cost money. The stop privatization is going to cost money. And you know what? It's going to cost you money when you lose your benefits, you lose your rights, and then they're going to cut your pay. Look, it will impact everybody. So everybody's got to be in this fight as far as like combating the privatization efforts. I also wanted to bring up, if you have an AWOL, sick leave restriction, Flo and Becky and Blake and everybody at DFW, we have a lot of cases, okay? There's a lot of grievances going on, but we're getting them resolved. It takes a long time. Being shut down for 5 months out of the last 7 caused a log jam of cases. Like I see Flo, she's going to probably need workman's comp for all the paperwork she's carrying around with her every day. I see her with her notebook. I was like, I need to get her a wagon for her caseload, have it dragging around her. But no, and Flo is actively training reps, and we're getting reps in there. And we're going to have a local stewards training in June on the 22nd. Okay. So there's the one that's going to be done in national. So there's going to be a training. So we're going to work on making sure we can get people off the floor. I know it's going to be tight, but the local could always do training in the future, but we're going to see how many people we can get off the floor. We may not be able to get more than like 3 or 4 people at DFW, and we'll be lucky to get 1 or 2 at Love Field and the spokes, but we can try. It's just because of the shutdowns that pushed us in this weird, awkward position. And then for those reps that are doing cases and are getting involved, if we have further in-person training, which are going to be more advanced down the road, you'll go to those so you can up your game to the next level, because we've got the new OAB process, which is a little bit easier than MSPB. So if you get terminated, it's very important that we just stay involved in understanding this. And one other thing, using your union benefits, guys. Your union benefits will offset the cost of your membership. Every time I've gone to Disney, I've bought my tickets through tickets at work. And I've saved almost $800 on the tickets for the family of 4. Yeah, as I'm saying, like you could save all the money on your dues just by using one benefit. If you need a rental car, 1 week on a rental car is about $400 worth of dues money saved. If you need to purchase a car, there's a place to negotiate. The cost of used vehicles are up 20%. You know why they're up 20%? Because the tariffs have cost that much more money on these cars. And be on the lookout for the first time ever, the local is going to issue what they call an issue paper as we get closer to the election. And I want people to be able to see the voting records of the key candidates in key positions. So you can see for yourself what person is going to support you and your families going forward. We've normally tried to stay out of the, directly, but you know what? We're in a time today that we have to educate the members directly about the issues that are going on. And I just wanted to bring that up. And we are recording this for rebroadcast. So everybody that couldn't make it, there's a lot, but we sent 4 messages out about this meeting, and we have it on our Facebook. And I know the time is not perfect, but we're going to be here till 3:00 for the face-to-face. And, the union is busy. Okay. I'm going to tell you, I'm so happy to be where we're at right now. You have no idea. We have been assaulted for the last 18 months, beginning March the 7th, 2025, when we were suddenly hit and our collective bargaining rights are stripped. But you know what? They just did it to DOD 2 weeks ago. So AFG asked me to drive down to the DOD base and give a presentation about how they did it to us. And this is what you can expect in your situation. They haven't filed a lawsuit there. It's going to take months and months and months for them to get their rights back. The difference between TSOs and a lot of other agencies is that when we started, we came from the Stone Age and moved to the modern era. And then we got kicked back to the Stone Age, so we knew how to operate in the Stone Age. Those guys have never been in the Stone Age. They just got kicked back to the Stone Age of worker rights. Okay. And now they're having to operate in an environment they've never been in before. So it's extremely difficult for other parts. We're actually light years ahead of other people in a lot of ways. And we're a little bit more protected because out of all those agencies, the agency had a right not to negotiate with us. And they did it anyway. So that puts us even in a better position than most other agencies. So, and we have to stay involved. Look, I can't even tell you, like all the news articles, Chris is a sponge of information as he, collects and reads articles and keeps himself up to date on what's happening. You have to have that. So what we're going to do is we're making videos, but we're also going to engage with some of our young guys. Like I know Blake, I'm going to ask Blake down the road to get us on TikTok and all that. My daughter knows more about TikTok than anybody in the world, but I don't know nothing about TikTok. But we need to get video clips. We need people to be informed, because if they're not informed, then they're going to, when they get it handed to them, it's going to be a pain. Look, you're not going to know about privatization until it shows up at your doorstep, because nobody in management is going to say, hey, they're trying to privatize your airport. I would probably say that at one airport, I can say they would probably tell me just because of the way they are and the relationship we have. But just remember, and there's also the DFO. So let me go on to the next subject for the DFW officers. They have the new private screening terminals open next week. Yeah. So you have to be a dual function officer in that place. So allegedly, nobody's schedules are changing. So if they're not changing any schedules, they're just reassigning personnel to work on the checkpoint, which is okay in the CBA. Huh? Well, we weren't notified, so that's a whole nother issue. So I can't operate on rumors. I need facts. Okay. I guess we can ask Devin, but because they would have had to notify us if they're having a mini. But at the end of the day, this checkpoint, as long as they don't change any schedules, it's going to be like dual function officers only, no baggage officers, no single function passenger, because they have to be dual function because it's a remote checkpoint. That's gonna be operating baggage and it's almost like a small Cat 4 airport, like the ones at like Wichita Falls, Tyler and Abilene and Longview, they're all dual function because they have to be able to operate those machines. When they open McKinney, they're gonna be dual function. You know, so because there's not gonna be like a single function baggage officer. You know, so
Dual function officers. We talked about that last.
yeah, they're bringing in dual functions to go work that check. And plus they need to convert a bunch of dual functions, but they have to wait until after FIFA. Because they need a bunch for these CT-80s. Yeah, there's not gonna. Yeah, because you're not gonna have it, but. Does any, do you have anybody have any questions online? If you want to put it in the chat or if you need to unmute, just let me know. But. The most important thing, guys, is for us to stay united and don't let people divide us. Because there's a lot of people that hate the union but on the flip side, the hate's being put in there by other people. Like the former component of our local, you know, these people are running for office and now they're trying to get out of the union. Okay, and they're not advocating. So what were they really in it for? Themselves. Okay. I want you to ask that situation. Does anybody else have any questions that I can answer? Hey, Bobby, you guys, any questions anybody got? Yeah. Yeah, well, if it's dual function and they're not changing their schedules, then they can just select it. You know what I mean? It's like being reassigned for the day, but it's not a permanent reassignment. If they change your schedule, then we can do something about it, but they're physically not changing their schedules. And if we could get it in writing that they're doing it, or we can find out where they did it, because we can send that, we're gonna put that on the LMR agenda already. But if you read it, if you're a single function, you're not eligible on any, because it's a dual function area. It's like working if you transfer to Longview, you'd have to be dual function. That's the same component as this checkpoint. So because you wouldn't be able to they're gonna do the baggage part first, and then everybody moves to the checkpoint. It's like they do it at the smaller.
What checkpoint is this?
Did you have a question? Yeah, in order to be dual function, you have to be certified on full checkpoint screening, so they won't. However, I wouldn't be surprised down the road if baggage officers aren't what they call phase 1 certified, because they're doing that at other airports. That's what I'm saying. Like the phase 1, they'll make a baggage officer the single function, and they'll certify them to go check. Phase 1. They'll be like a phase 1 certified baggage officer. Yeah. Plus, they're starting the research. The guy. Yeah. Well, they're charging a fee of $4,500, like to get into it. Yeah.
It's another 2,000 or 3,000. And then if you want a private suite that holds up to 4 people, it has a flat screen TV with streaming service, a bed, snacks and all that stuff in there, and private person bringing you food and drinks. So anywhere between 4,000 and 5,000. So yeah, there's several. There's been one here.
You got one up in JFK. Yeah, it's just basic, and they're trying to do a remote screen in Boston. They're doing a remote screening situation where you screen in one place, they drive you in by shuttle bus to the airport, that's in Boston. Because they don't have enough places. Yeah, we've definitely got a lot of challenges. And I tell people, the biggest thing, Bobby, you're bringing up facts. Don't get caught in a distraction. See, this is what happens. So, and it's a good point what you're bringing up. But the problem is that the energy and focus, you're like, well, let's try to get these guys involved in worrying about this stuff. And then all of a sudden, well, you know what? We'll just privatize the whole thing. So, because I'm telling you, DFW has the money, resources to get it done. Like they're probably the only airport, they pump more money out of the ground than they do takeoff and landings. Okay. They make money on the oil and gas. They're paying for the new terminals with oil and gas money. You know, so like it's basically like you have to get down to the thing. Now, the good news is we've got friends on the like in the DFW airport board that we can reach out to. But it is this you gotta stick it sometimes like some of those things, don't worry about it because we can't really control that. Like because we don't control the private screening there. Now we control the bargaining employees. If they're violating, like we're gonna find out if they actually did a mini event, then we're gonna file a grievance on that like in a heartbeat. Because they didn't notify us. And also you still, if you do a mini bid, you have to follow the procedures in place. So if we ever get confirmation they did that, we're gonna eat them for lunch. Well, look, the biggest problem with the shift bid is, and because of the delay, there was an intent to do a shift bid. Okay. The problem is that from the time the shutdown was over to the time they could actually start the bid and implement the bid, it wouldn't have been implemented until like almost July. So you're in a position where it's like, we're going to have another bid starting in 2 months. It's really a weird place. Not only that, you're getting, when you're on a checkpoint, you have to do the cross trains. I kind of get it. You know, it's like, but on the flip side, when you only have one bid a year, you must file the other components of the contract. So if you have a mini bid, same process and procedure apply. So if they didn't notify us about a mini bid, then that's going to be a problem. Like that, anything that done is being validated, have to do it again. So like if that was that, you know, if that actually occurred. So it's always good to be informed. And you know what? The best way to inform people is like, we're about to have the safety action, that we're having the safety action and the CDSOs coming open. We need members and we need stewards to get on these committees to stay informed, because when somebody gets hurt on the job, they're supposed to be reaching out to safety. That's not happening because nunnery would let us know it's not happening. So when somebody gets hurt on the job at DFW, you report it to your supervisor, and then they're supposed to get with safety. Carl retired. And then nunnery, Robert Nunnery. Yeah, nunnery's taking over. If we don't have any other direct issues for the meeting, or we don't, I think we've got everything just covered. So we're gonna stay, the boards are gonna stay behind. So if people that show up in person, we can, you know, talk to them one-on-one. But there's so many things. And so we have the 250th anniversary coming up, you know, of America. It's gonna be a pretty big celebration. So we may end up having a meeting in June, but we're looking at trying to have some events in person, you know, at the airport. No, you know, have some stuff, you know, like, cause it's important to celebrate the 250th anniversary, but we're not celebrating with nuclear hot dogs and stuff running down the, you know, stuff of that nature. So like, but at any rate, you know, we should all come together and celebrate, and also make a plan to vote. Like when this election come up in November, you need to vote, and you need to vote just stop voting Republican or Democrat. Read what these guys are actually doing for you and your family, because it will open your eyes up. Like, I don't care about all that.
If it's in conservation, I know that Senior Airlines are also opposed to privatizing TSA, so.
Oh yeah, definitely the flight attendants and the pilots union sure as hell don't want no private screening, because they remember what happened on 9/11. So we're working on all these different things, and but if we don't have anything else to discuss, we can make a motion to end the meeting formally, but we'll stay behind and talk to folks. So we have a motion to adjourn, motion from Mr. Weaver. We have a second from Mr. David Curtis. Any discussion on end of the meeting? No, I don't think so. With that, just all in favor of adjourning the meeting for this month? Any opposed? No? So with the, in the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. With the motion, the meeting is adjourned. So just want to say thanks for everybody getting on the meeting, and thanks for Seta being online. Hopefully you get with those guys. Oh, what checkpoint is dual only? That's going to be the remote checkpoint that they're building out past A terminal. So you have to drive there. So, but hit me up and let me know when you get a hold of Sarah now.